What is going on, everybody? DiBiase here for another reaction video for you guys, man. Today we're going to be checking out another video by WrestleMania. 10 WWE wrestlers who hit rock bottom. And no, man, it's not The Rock's move, rock bottom. Rock bottom is, pretty much like a rags to riches story. Like you work so hard to get to this level in your career to where, you're getting paid a shit ton of money and, performing at WrestleMania in front of 80,000 people and performing in front of 20,000 people on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown every night or whatever. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of pro wrestlers that try and reach that level and they never quite make it. And then there's other guys that make it and then they squander the opportunity. It becomes a little bit too much for them. They end up losing their position and then, they end up wrestling in bingo halls and, doing indie bookings and stuff like that. And, it pretty much takes them out of the limelight. One key example I can give you guys is Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio back in 2011 won the Royal Rumble. I was there in Boston, Mass at the TD Garden, and he went on to WrestleMania that year to face Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship. He didn't win. But still, he got to get to his moment, main event in WrestleMania, and obviously we know that Edge had to retire. If I remember correctly, he had to retire the next night on Monday Night Raw, because of his neck injuries and his neck situations or whatever. So Alberto Del Rio is notorious for a lot of his baggage outside of the pro wrestling business. He was in a very tumultuous relationship with Saraya, known as Paige in WWE, and Saraya in AEW. And, substance abuse and drug abuse, and, he's been accused of kidnapping and armed robbery, and just, he went downhill fast. Nobody needs Alberto Del Rio on their fucking television. Fuck Alberto Del Rio. But, that's just, like, one key example of somebody that pretty much had it all, squandered their opportunity, and now he's pretty much nothing. So we're going to be checking out this list. I'm looking forward to it. If you guys like videos like this, you already know what to do. Make sure you guys smash the subscribe button, the notification buttons are on. Make sure you guys give the video a like. Check me out on my social media accounts as well. Links in the description. Let's check this out, man. 10 WWE wrestlers who hit rock bottom.
Sometimes in pro wrestling, a wrestler can be on the top of the world, then due to their own outlandish and reckless behavior,
oh, you got to throw Matt Riddle in this
spiral. Due to their life actions, the wrestler in question becomes blacklisted from the pro wrestling industry, and top companies...
By the way, I do want to say, man, Matt Riddle, even though he got fired from WWE or whatever, got released because of his, outside influences, I guess. He's still doing this thing, man. He's doing this thing he's doing this thing on the indies. He had a match with Jacob Fatu in MLW. He's doing stuff in New Japan. He's doing stuff for GCW. So, the dude is still working. And, if he can straighten his act up, no doubt in my mind, Triple H will, give him that call back at some point, Just needs a little bit of a break, man, to readjust his life and priorities. Him and his new girlfriend are having a kid. Maybe that straightens him out. I don't know. But no doubt, man, if he can fix his outside, his outside life or whatever, no doubt the dude's too talented not to give another chance to. So, I no doubt in my mind he'll be back in WWE at some point, hopefully.
Such as WWE and AEW,
Enzo Amore,
that respective wrestler.
This guy needs to be back in a fucking company somewhere.
Who suffered a huge downfall. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification.
I'm actually really curious to see who's on this list.
For exclusive lists. Also check out our new website, WrestleMania.com. Number 10, Lars Sullivan.
Lars Sullivan, man.
Called up to the WWE main roster in 2019, screenshots began to circulate of Sullivan's historical posts on the internet forums between 2007 to 2013. Unfortunately, the majority of these posts had disgusting comments of a racist, sexist, and homophobic nature. Sullivan would take aim at beloved WWE figures such as Kofi Kingston, R-Truth, and even Stephanie McMahon. Sullivan was quite rightly fined $100,000 by WWE, and a subsequent statement on the controversy was released by Sullivan. There is no excuse for the inappropriate remarks that I made years ago. They do not reflect my personal beliefs nor who I am today, and I apologize to anyone I offended. WWE in a bold move decided...
I will say that, man. Like, Lars Sullivan, obviously, he got reprimanded, he got fined, and he did end up getting released or whatever. He did apologize, but he did get released, and obviously that was due to a lot of like fan backlash and whatever. And obviously WWE being a publicly traded company, and they can't let anything diminish their company name, and because of being an association with this guy. But I will say, man, like how I am now is not how I was 12, 13 years ago, or however long it is. I said some of the most reckless shit online. Some of the most, like, hateful stuff or whatever about, like, certain family members of mine. And, I was, like, one of those rebellious kids. I didn't give a fuck, back when I was a kid or whatever. But they don't reflect who I am now. Now I'm a husband, I'm a father. I have, responsibility, and I have to uphold a certain image, so to speak, or whatever. So, I mean, will Lars Sullivan ever be back in WWE? Maybe. I could see it possibly happening down the line, once, this stuff gets brushed away or whatever. Obviously, as a different character, possibly. I'm not sure, but, I mean, he had to get cut loose, man. He had to get cut loose. There's just certain things that you shouldn't do, and I mean, we saw that with Jay Briscoe. Executives at TNT or whatever and TBS refused to allow him on AEW Dynamite or Collision or Rampage, whatever it is. Collision didn't form until after he passed away or whatever. But the TBS execs didn't allow him on AEW programming because he said I believe he said some homophobic stuff on Twitter back in like 2010 or whatever it is. So even though people learn from their actions and their mistakes, certain actions have to be taken. Especially like there's a lot of money involved with these companies. You know what I mean? So yeah, it sucks. And I was such a huge advocate for wanting Jay Briscoe on AEW Dynamite. The fucking cocksuckers at TBS and TNT wouldn't allow it.
To keep Sullivan around, but that was until 2021 when Sullivan departed WWE due to his anxiety issues. Due to Sullivan's prior comments as well as his anxiety issues, it's likely that Sullivan never steps foot in a pro wrestling ring ever again. This was a man who was going to have a featured feud with John Cena and just threw it all away. Number 9, Joey Ryan. One of the names
Joey Ryan, bro. This dude's notorious.
2020 was Joey Ryan. Ryan was at one point one of the biggest names on the...
I heard that this dude, he got blackballed in the pro wrestling business, and he had a job. This was, almost like a year and a half, two years ago. He had a job at Disney World doing like tours or something of something. People found out, it spread like wildfire on social media, and they ended up firing him. I mean, come on, bro. I can't remember what he did. I think it had to do with like abuse of like domestic abuse or something like that.
The indie scene, and although his work wasn't to everyone's taste, it certainly attracted an audience. Ryan was named by over 15 different individuals, and some of the stories that were shared by the very victims were horrifying and can't even be disclosed on YouTube. Impact Wrestling, who Ryan often appeared for, would terminate Ryan effective immediately, and instead of showing remorse for his actions, Ryan criticized the way Impact handled the situation, and he proceeded to deny all accusations in a video statement. I've never had sex with a woman without a consent. I've never acted criminally towards a woman, and I've never acted criminally with sex, and unlike these allegations, I have actual evidence that can show you that.
Bro, man, it's always going to be... The first rule of a man is you're always wrong, especially when it comes to what a woman says. Regardless if you're telling the truth or not, we're seeing it with Chris Jericho now. We still don't know all the facts about what happened with that whole situation. I'm not going to bring it up. Regardless if you're telling the truth or not, man, a woman is going to get believed over you. You're a male, they're a female. Their species is a lot weaker than ours, I guess. Especially when it comes to like court or anything that has to do with like court or anything like that, bro. Your girlfriend could punch you dead in the face and you'll be the one getting arrested because you're the one that caused her to do that. It just happens, man. It happens, bro.
This so-called evidence.
You gotta watch where you go and watch what you do.
The wrestling industry seems to be done with Ryan, as he was recently working at Universal Studios. Number 8.
Yeah, and he got fired again.
Upon leaving WWE, there was an expectation that Ryback would venture.
I thought it was Disney World. It was Universal.
Impact, or perhaps
either
even
way,
a successful run on the independent scene.
Ryback, man.
However,
I watch his food reviews on
WWE
YouTube.
Departure,
Don't
Ryback
judge
has become
me.
a laughingstock of the wrestling world. Ryback is consistently making controversial comments that are disgusting in nature, and Ryback would even take aim at Vince McMahon's late mother for literally no reason. Ryback spends his days throwing out outlandish comments on streaming live on TikTok, not to mention his mukbang videos where he eats a packet of chips. As of this video being published,
I mean, bro, if it wasn't for Ryback, I would have never found out about Jersey Mike's. So I mean, I appreciate the help. This dude is off his rocker, bro. This dude, like, I'll be like sitting in bed scrolling, and he's probably live on TikTok right now. I'll just be like scrolling on TikTok or whatever if I can't sleep at night, and I'll just see him fucking like, they have these things on TikTok like battles or whatever. I don't quite get it. It's like the person who gets sent the most gifts wins, I guess. I don't know. That's Ryback's new fucking thing, bro. It's become a full-time fucking job. So I don't know what to make of it, and I mean, let me know your thoughts.
Published, Ryback hasn't wrestled in a ring for over 5 years, and it's unlikely that any sensible and reputable wrestling company will ever want to book the former Intercontinental Champion on one of their shows. Ryback even made a poll saying whether he should return to WWE or go to AEW or just retire. The majority was retire. Ryback took the poll down, commenting to users to be serious. Nevertheless, he put the poll up again, and they still said retire. Number 7, Ric Flair. Ric Flair is
oh my God,
one of the greatest wrestlers of all
Ric Flair, bro. Dude that faked the heart attack in the ring.
Time. Yet in recent years, Flair has been involved in controversy after controversy. In 2021, Dark Side of the Ring distributed a special...
Oh, the plane ride from hell or whatever. I did watch that episode. I don't watch Dark Side of the Ring a lot because I feel like a lot of the stories that they do tell, like, things that have to do with, like, death and, you know, domestic abuse and, like, drug addiction that leads to eventual death, whatever. Whenever I get a chance, an opportunity to, like, maybe watch it, it's usually at night when I'm laying in bed, wanting to watch something on TV. But, I mean, who wants to watch depressing shit before they're fucking about to fall asleep? So, I watched the plane ride from hell. I mean, I hate to say it, but it seems legit. I mean, you know, Ric Flair does, especially back in his heyday, even today, he does seem like the kind of person to want to force himself on a woman. He was just at a AEW Rampage a couple months ago, and he made a stupid joke. I don't know if it aired on TV. I didn't see, but he was like all the women 18 and over, you know, come to my hotel, man. Come to my hotel room after the show, whatever. No husbands or boyfriends allowed. And I'm like, this fucking guy, man. And I think Tony Khan just played it off like he was joking. This fucking guy. I mean, you just had a shitstorm because of a fucking forcing yourself on a woman on an airplane back in the day. Now you're fucking telling all the women at fucking Rampage to come to your hotel room and have an orgy. What the fuck, bro?
Episode on the infamous plane ride from hell.
It doesn't surprise me Ric Flair's in this.
A flight attendant accused Flair of wearing his signature robe and forcing her to touch his nether regions. It was said that she proceeded to sue WWE and the two sides would settle out of court. WWE did not disclose if Flair was
This doesn't surprise me, bro.
In 2002, yet it's a common belief that Flair wasn't reprimanded in any way. Following the airing of the episode, Flair would deny the allegations towards him, and WWE would subsequently remove Flair from their signature at the start of their shows. In 2023, Tony Khan made the controversial call to sign Flair to AEW. This was a move which received widespread backlash, and Khan was called out on his hypocrisy.
Tony Khan's like, hey man, you want to come in and work and I ain't got to pay you? Fuck it. That's why AEW is promoting Ric Flair's energy drink, because the energy drink company is the one that, like, you know, all the revenue that they make from the drinks are the people that are paying Ric Flair's paycheck for his appearances at AEW Dynamite. If you were wondering why AEW was in such heavy promotion of Ric Flair's energy drink, that's why. Tony Khan, the fucking wild man.
He would later claim that Flair was brought in due to a sponsorship deal, yet this did little to justify why Flair was now employed in the second biggest wrestling company in North America. Number 6.
This man was in...
Sunny is considered by many to be the first WWE diva, and during
Sunny,
the 90s,
man. She's doing 17 years in prison for manslaughter.
One of the most downloaded women in internet
Vehicular
history in the
manslaughter.
Sonny's problems with the law were well established, and in the year 2012 alone, Sonny was arrested 5 times in a single month. Ultimately, in 2022, Sonny was involved in a fatal crash that killed a 75-year-old man. It was determined that Sonny was intoxicated during the crash, and in November of 2023, she was sentenced to 17.5 years in prison and 8 years probation. Due to Sunny's inexcusable actions, she will never be promoted in a positive manner on WWE TV again, and it would hardly be a surprise if Sunny's name is virtually erased from the WWE history books. Number 5. Alberto Del Rio.
Alberto Del Rio, here we go.
Stints in WWE, Del Rio was pushed as a top main event level star. Del Rio was a multi-time world champion, and although he was undeniably talented,
this dude got pushed to the moon, and he was just a fucking dick.
Such a consistent push is a topic for another day. The more sinister side of Del Rio began to surface in 2016 when he began to date fellow WWE star Paige. It would surface that Del Rio was putting Paige through physical and mental abuse, and in a brave and courageous move, Paige sat down with Gore TV in 2020 to discuss what kind of person Del Rio truly was. In the beginning, you're fighting back with this person, but in the end, it becomes a cycle. Eventually, something is happening to you every day. You could be trapped in a room for 6 to 7 hours, getting your ass beat every couple of minutes, and he's doing all these crazy things to you, because he's Voldemort to me. He needs whatever is happening to him. Karma is a real thing. Also in 2020, Del Rio was charged with battery and sexual assaulting his girlfriend at the time, and after his trial was postponed on several occasions, the charges were eventually dropped in 2021. Del Rio's conduct over the past 8 years has shattered his reputation within the pro wrestling industry. WWE wants absolutely nothing to do with the former WWE champion, and recently in December 2023, Del Rio was seen wrestling in a high school gym, marking one of the biggest yet justified downfalls in pro wrestling history. Just imagine at one point you're wrestling in front of 70,000 plus people in a stadium. The next minute, you know, you're in front of...
Fuck Alberto Del Rio. Nobody wants him. I hate him almost as much as I hate Kevin Patrick. And I don't even necessarily hate Kevin Patrick. I just don't think he's needed on WWE TV as a commentator. But fuck Alberto Del Rio, bro. The dude's a fucking scumbag, legitimately. If he ever comes back to WWE or anything like that, I will stop watching. Regardless how good the television show is. Fuck Alberto Del Rio, man. Fuck Alberto Del Rio. The guy's a scumbag.
70 people who could care less that you're there. Number 4, Tessa Blanchard. Just one day before Tessa Blanchard was set to make history and win the Impact Wrestling World title, Blanchard's world completely fell apart. She would send out a tweet stating that women should support each other, and this tweet was met with clapbacks from numerous top female talent. Names such as Chelsea Green would call her out for bullying, and she would even be accused of using a racial slur and spitting in a black woman's face. Blanchard eventually released a formal statement which read, "Over the last week, I've been accused of calling a fellow wrestler a racial slur. To read this allegation has been personally upsetting. To be clear, I absolutely did not use that word. That word is not in my vocabulary. That word is not in my heart. Racism is not in my heart. Yet I know many people have to deal with racism in a way I will never have to. Racism is an awful part of America."
I think I feel like I read somewhere. Tessa Blanchard, I know of her, but I don't think I've ever seen a wrestler. She's spent most of her time on the indies and like Impact and stuff like that. I stopped watching Impact in like 2011, 2012. But I think I read somewhere that like it did come out that she legitimately did say certain things and she did do certain things or whatever to people. I can't remember offhand what exactly it was because it was like probably 3 years ago I read this. But apparently all people wanted her to do was like publicly apologize, and she refused to do so. And, you know, I think AEW, Tony Khan was going to give her a job, and then this shitstorm started to happen, and he was like, yeah, probably not a good idea. Tony Khan, you're in hot water, bro. I would not be bringing in somebody like this. I don't know.
American history, and it's equally awful that it's still part of our society today. While I did not do what was claimed, I stand ready to use my platform to support the fight against racism however I can. And in a controversial move, Impact would still proceed to book Blanchard to win the Impact World title, yet in summer 2020, she would be stripped of the aforementioned title and she would disappear from the limelight entirely. Number 3, Ted DiBiase Jr.
Ted DiBiase, man, this dude's going to prison.
Jr. was going to be a major player for WWE. Yet things didn't work out how DiBiase or the fans
This dude's going to prison for
WWE,
fucking
he fell out of the
fraud or
spotlight,
something.
But that was until mainstream media picked up a story regarding DiBiase and a very worrying legal case. In April 2023, the US Department of Justice released an official statement indicting DiBiase with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 6 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, and 4 counts of money laundering. Due to the nature of these charges, DiBiase is facing a prison sentence that could amount to 180 years. Number 2, Hulk Hogan. Fans across the world were horrified in 2000.
I will say, I don't know all the details, but something tells me this is the only legal trouble that I feel like he's ever been in. I highly doubt they're gonna give him that much. They'll probably give him a couple of years, but it's definitely not gonna be like a life sentence or anything like that. I don't think the guy's ever been in trouble. He'll have to pay restitution. He'll have to pay a bunch of legal fees, and he might get 5.5 years in prison or something like that, along with 10 years of probation or something like that. I highly doubt he's gonna get 180 years. But I mean, weirder shit's happened. I don't know. So I haven't really been following the case, closely at all. So I don't really know. I know how the legal system is, and I doubt he's going to get that much with this being his first offense ever.
2015, when it surfaced that Hulk Hogan had delivered a racist rant on a leaked tape back in 2007. In this rant, Hogan would use the N-word several times, and once this was made public, Hogan was quick to apologize, yet fans as well as fellow wrestlers didn't want to hear it. Everyone was hurt by Hogan's comments, as Hogan for decades had been a role model for people young and old, yet it turned out that Hogan was a nasty racist who was always hiding his true colors.
I think that was when Bubba the Love Sponge or whatever had Hulk Hogan bang his wife, and he had a camera hidden somewhere in the room or whatever, and it got caught. That tape leaked. And Hogan said a bunch of crazy stuff. And then didn't he have a radio interview to where he said the N-word or something like that? I swear that happened, but I don't know.
WWE would remove Hogan from the Hall of Fame, yet a few years later, Hogan would slowly be reintegrated into WWE programming. Hogan's appearances are always met with fair criticism, and Hogan is often booed, as a racist rant isn't something fans are going to forget and forgive. And number 1, the Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen
WWE
Dream, man.
Plans to make the Velveteen Dream one of the few.
Let me know in the comment section below, man. Velveteen Dream, obviously, he's had his issues or whatever. He did recently go on social media, make a public apology video or whatever that seemed very heartfelt. I personally have yet to watch it. I probably should have. I didn't know he was going to be on this video. Let me know in the comment section below if you think that WWE or AEW maybe should give Velveteen Dream, Patrick Clark, another shot at the limelight. I don't know. It's a very controversial thing. I do know there was something about him messaging an underage female, whatever, and it can't. That obviously that's not true. But obviously in the court of public opinion, that's really what shifted his downfall. The reason he got released is because apparently he was a douchebag and an asshole backstage, and people in NXT didn't want to deal with him, so they opted to release him. But people still assume that he was talking to an underage female, and WWE, with the legal team that they have, they looked through everything, and there was no such thing. So I don't know, but like I said, in the court of public opinion, he's guilty no matter what. Same thing with Enzo, man. Enzo got accused of fucking sexual assault in a hotel room by some woman, and it turned out all she wanted was money. She did it to multiple other people, but in the court of public opinion, Enzo was found guilty, and he was pretty much blackballed from working in, a big-time company. I want him to go back to WWE or go back with Big Bill or Big Cass, whatever you want to call him, in AEW, man. Enzo is too fucking good, man. Him and Cass still team on the Indies. I saw him last year.
Future stars of the company. Dream was super over with the NXT audience, and there were even rumors that Dream was going to feud with John Cena on the main roster. Unfortunately, in 2020, everything changed. He was accused of sending indecent images to underage boys via Instagram. Then just a few short months later, his name was part of the Speaking Out movement, which he was accused of having inappropriate contact with underage children. WWE were called out extensively for how they handled this, as they decided to ignore what Dream was accused of, and the only comment the company made was when Triple H stated, "We looked into it, didn't find anything there in the manner of what we're looking for, and we moved on. But it doesn't change the fact that we take it seriously." Every time Dream would appear on TV, #Fire Velveteen Dream trended worldwide, and eventually WWE decided to release one of the most promising stars from his contract. Since Dream's WWE exit, he is yet to wrestle again, likely because not a single wrestling promotion wants to be associated with him. But there you have it, folks. 10 wrestlers.
There we have it, man. A lot of big time rags to riches story, man, in this editorial. Damn, guys, man. So we talked about Velveteen Dream. We heard about Alberto Del Rio, the fucking scumbag. Joey Ryan or whatever was a notorious one. Enzo Amore, man, I feel like he was, out of everybody on this list, I feel like he's the one that has the least issues. And I do feel like Enzo Amore should be involved in another big time company. I mean, I've seen him live. The dude's phenomenal. I mean, I went to Northeast Wrestling out in Connecticut last year, and it was him and Big Cass teaming up together in the main event that night against the Hardys. Their line to do like a meet and greet or whatever, and like their line was so fucking huge, bro. Enzo is still as over today as he was when he was, back in 2016, 2017 when he was, in WWE. So I do think Enzo Amore, man, deserves to be in a big time company because the dude has more charisma than most performers nowadays. Like the dude is just oozing with charisma, and he needs to showcase himself on a bigger platform. So that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comment section yours. Anyway, guys, man, I appreciate you guys hanging out once again. If you guys like videos like this, you're to do. Make sure you guys smash the subscribe button with the notification bell turned on. Check out my social media accounts, links in the description. Make sure you guys leave a like on the video as well. See you guys next time.